The morning dawned like any other across Earth's varied landscapes. In New York, stockbrokers hurried through crowded streets. Children in Tokyo headed to school beneath cherry blossoms. Farmers in Kenya checked their automated irrigation systems. No one noticed when deep space monitoring stations briefly registered anomalous readings near Neptune's orbit. No one except Dr. Elena Kapper at the Pan-Global Space Initiative headquarters beneath Geneva. Director Singh, "We have multiple objects decelerating at the edge of the solar system," she reported, her voice steady despite the adrenaline surging through her veins. "Pattern matches scenario Omega." Director Amara Singh nodded once, her silver-streaked hair catching the light from the holographic displays. "How many?" 300 capital ships, sir. Largest is approximately 30 kilometers in length." Singh's expression remained neutral as she pressed her palm against the biometric scanner on her desk. A hidden panel slid open, revealing a single red button protected by a glass case. "Initiate facade protocol," she ordered. "Alert the Security Council, but maintain civilian broadcasts as normal." Across the planet, invisible systems activated. Military satellites adjusted their positions by millimeters, now appearing as defunct relics to outside observers. Power grids in major cities deliberately created inefficiency patterns that suggested technological limitations. And deep beneath the Mariana Trench, Chief Engineer Thomas Chen received the alert he'd been waiting for since he'd first joined the secret program 27 years ago. "It's happening," he told his team of engineers, their faces illuminated by the blue glow of quantum monitors. "Positions, everyone." The massive underwater facility hummed to life as systems that had been in standby for decades fully activated. The quantum entanglement array, capable of instantaneous communication across any distance without detectable signals, connected with its counterparts hidden beneath the Sahara, Antarctica, and the Amazon basin. 3 days later, Admiral Kazoth of the Galactic Hegemony stood on the observation deck of his flagship, the Crystal Dominion. His metallic scales shifted colors in the dim light as he observed the third planet of this unremarkable yellow star. His species had conquered hundreds of worlds across 3 spiral arms of the galaxy, and this Earth appeared particularly unimpressive. "What do our scans show?" he asked his science officer, Vextra. Vextra's compound eyes reflected the holographic display. "Primitive nuclear fission technology. Limited space travel capabilities. They've barely established a foothold on their moon. Multiple nation-states in constant conflict. Their most advanced weapons are chemical propellant projectiles and crude fusion bombs." Zoth's mandibles clicked in amusement. "Another simple conquest, then. Send the standard ultimatum and prepare the first wave for deployment." Throughout Earth's atmosphere, the alien transmission interrupted all broadcasts simultaneously. Citizens looked up from dinner tables, stopped in city streets, and gathered in public squares as massive holographic projections appeared in the skies worldwide. Kazoth's imposing figure, 9 feet tall with gleaming cybernetic enhancements, loomed above them. "People of Earth," the translation began, "I am Admiral Kazoth of the Galactic Hegemony. Your planet is now under our protection. Submit to our authority, and your civilization will be preserved. Resist, and you will be eradicated. Your leaders have 24 hours to surrender." The transmission ended, leaving stunned silence in its wake. Media channels erupted with panic. Religious leaders called for prayer. Military forces worldwide went on high alert. In the White House Situation Room, President Rosa Martinez received intelligence reports with remarkable calm. On screen, representatives from China, Russia, India, and the European Union maintained equally composed expressions. "Is everything in place?" Martins asked. General William Hayes nodded. "Operation Facade is fully operational, Madam President. The HMS Defiant is prepped and Captain Reeves is ready. And our actual defensive capabilities. Quantum disruption grid is at 100%, hidden in plain sight as civilian infrastructure. Admiral Chen reports the Mariana facility is fully online. President Martinez allowed herself a small smile. Then let's give our visitors the welcome they deserve. Initiate the response exactly as we planned. Let them think we're panicking. As the world appeared to descend into chaos, with staged protests and emergency broadcasts designed to project vulnerability, humanity's true response unfolded with precision born of decades of preparation. The trap, 50 years in the making, was about to spring. The HMS Defiant rose from its concealed hangar beneath the Pacific Ocean, salt water cascading from its seemingly antiquated hull. To any observer, particularly the advanced sensors of the hegemony fleet, the vessel appeared cobbled together from mismatched parts. Visible welding seams, inefficient chemical propulsion systems, and primitive weapons ports that wouldn't threaten even the smallest alien scout ship. This was precisely the intention. Status report, Captain Sophia Reeves commanded, her calm voice belying the gravity of their mission. The bridge of the Defiant presented the same illusion as its exterior: outdated monitors, physical control panels, and exposed wiring that occasionally sparked dramatically. Lieutenant Commander Jackson Chen tapped at his console. All systems functioning at optimal efficiency, Captain. The apparent malfunctions are performing perfectly. And ATGNA. Online and undetectable. The AI specialist, Dr. Maya Okafor, confirmed. She touched the neural implant discreetly positioned behind her ear, indistinguishable from a small birthmark. The quantum core is shielded exactly as planned. To their sensors, we're running on nuclear fission and basic computer systems. Reeves nodded, studying the tactical display that showed the massive hegemony fleet holding position just beyond Mars. Communications broadcast our response to the ultimatum. Yes, Captain, Lieutenant Wyhan replied. Broadcasting now. The message that left the Defiant was a masterpiece of deception. The appearance of a hastily assembled human response, filled with artificial signal degradation and translation errors. It requested parley with the alien commander, offering surrender terms while including subtle hints of Earth's supposed technological limitations. Aboard the Crystal Dominion, Admiral Kazoth and his senior officers gathered around the holographic projector as the human transmission played. They send a single vessel. Sub-Commander Vextra chittered incredulously, mandibles clicking rapidly. Scans confirm minimal shielding and obsolete propulsion technology. Kazoth studied the approaching Earth ship. Something about the situation triggered his warrior instincts, honed across centuries of conquest. It seems convenient. Their response too quick, too unified for a fractured species. The ship poses no threat. The tactical officer interjected. Our smallest weapons could vaporize it instantly. Perhaps, Kazoth mused, but I prefer to study my prey before consuming it. Bring their vessel aboard using tractor beams. I wish to meet these humans face to face before we commence planetary bombardment. The order spread through the command chain. On the Defiance bridge, the crew felt the first vibrations as the alien tractor beam locked onto their hull. They're taking the bait, Reeves announced. Her 12 crew members, each selected from different intelligence agencies around the world, exchanged subtle glances. All of them carried different pieces of Earth's true technological capabilities, disguised as ordinary items or embedded within their own bodies. The Defiant shuddered as it was drawn inexorably toward the gargantuan alien flagship. Through the viewports, the crew could see the crystalline structure of the hegemony vessel, 30 kilometers of translucent faceted material that pulsed with internal energy. Remember your training, Reeves said quietly. We are Earth's ambassadors, frightened, overwhelmed, and technologically primitive. Dr. Okafor, initialize ATENA's passive scanning protocols. Already done, Captain, Okafor replied, her fingers dancing across her console while actually activating the quantum-entangled AI that would map every system of the alien vessel. ATENA is recording everything. As the Defiant was swallowed by the cavernous docking bay of the alien flagship, massive compared to the human vessel, Lieutenant Chen whispered, It's like a minnow being swallowed by a whale. Remember, Lieutenant, Reeves responded with the hint of a smile. Sometimes what's swallowed isn't a minnow at all, but a slow-acting poison. The docking clamps secured the Defiant in place as atmosphere filled the alien hangar. Through the viewports, the crew could see hundreds of hegemony soldiers assembling in precise formations, 9-foot-tall reptilian beings with metallic scales and cybernetic enhancements, carrying crystalline weapons that hummed with energy. "Showtime," Reeves announced, adjusting her deliberately outdated uniform. "Communications, inform Admiral Kzoth that Earth's representatives are ready to discuss our surrender." As the airlock cycled, microscopic fabricators beneath the captain's chair completed their work, releasing the first wave of nanobots, invisible to even the hegemony's advanced sensors, that would begin mapping every system of the alien flagship while transmitting the data instantly back to Earth via quantum entanglement. Phase 2 of humanity's 50-year plan had begun. The delegation from Earth followed their towering hegemony escorts through crystalline corridors that shifted and pulsed with internal energy. Captain Reeves led her small team of 5 officers, each chosen for their specific expertise and the hidden technologies they carried. Admiral Kzoth awaited them in the Grand Command Chamber, a vast space with transparent walls, offering panoramic views of space and Earth hanging like a blue jewel in the distance. The Admiral's imposing figure dominated the room, 3 meters tall with iridescent scales and cybernetic enhancements that hummed with power. "Welcome aboard the Crystal Dominion." Kzoth's translator rendered his clicking speech into English. "I commend your wisdom in accepting the inevitable." Reeves bowed her head in practiced submission. "The people of Earth thank you for your mercy, Admiral. We recognize the hegemony's power and seek only to preserve our civilization." As the diplomatic exchange continued, Lieutenant Maya Okafor discreetly activated the nanobots embedded in her uniform's fabric. Microscopic machines, each no larger than a dust particle, detached and drifted through the air currents of the ship's ventilation system. These invisible infiltrators, products of Earth's true technological advancement, began mapping the vessel's critical systems. "You will find the hegemony's rule beneficial," Kzoth continued, mandibles clicking in what his species considered a reassuring gesture. "Your culture will be preserved in our archives, and your people will serve productive roles in our society." "We're honored," Dr. Eliana Walsh, the delegation's xenobiologist, responded. Her neural implant was already analyzing Kzoth's biology, identifying potential weaknesses. "May I ask about the accommodation of our biological needs during the transition?" The seemingly innocuous question allowed Walsh to move closer to the Admiral, releasing another cloud of nanobots specifically programmed to study the aliens' biometric security systems. Meanwhile, deep beneath Antarctica's ice shelf, Dr. Ling Zhaba monitored the incoming data stream from the Defiant's quantum-entangled receivers. The nanobots' observations arrived instantaneously, regardless of the millions of kilometers separating Earth from the alien fleet. "We're getting unprecedented access to their systems," Zhao informed the Global Defense Council through secure channels. "The crystalline technology is fascinating. Their entire ship structure acts as both power conduit and computational matrix." "Any vulnerabilities?" asked General Hayes from the Pentagon bunker. "Yes," Zhao's fingers flew across holographic controls. "Their quantum resonance engines operate on a harmonic frequency unlike anything we've seen before. But if we can generate a counter-resonance, it could disrupt their entire power structure." Back on the Crystal Dominion, Sub-Commander Vextre approached Kzoth during a brief recess in the negotiations. "Admiral, something is curious about these humans," Vextre whispered. "Their biometric readings fluctuate in patterns inconsistent with fear or submission." Kzoth's compound eyes narrowed. "Explain." "They appear calm beneath their performative anxiety, and their captain's neural activity suggests cognitive enhancements beyond what their technological level should permit." Kzoth studied the human delegation from across the chamber. "Conduct a molecular scan. Discreetly." Vextra activated his cybernetic scanner, sweeping it across the room. The data made his exoskeleton flush with alarm colors. Admiral, they're carrying embedded technology throughout their bodies. Sophisticated microstructures our sensors initially missed. Zoth's mandibles clicked rapidly in anger. Deception. Security Protocol Omega. Crystalline barriers suddenly materialized around the human delegation as security drones descended from ceiling compartments. Captain Reeves maintained her composure even as the pretense collapsed. "What is the meaning of this?" she demanded, deliberately stalling for time as the nanobots continued their work. "You bring hidden technology aboard my vessel," Kizoth hissed. "You attempt to deceive the hegemony." Reeves straightened her posture, dropping the submissive facade. "We merely wish to understand who we're dealing with, Admiral. Standard protocol when facing an unknown adversary. Your deception changes nothing." Kizoth activated the ship-wide communication system. "All vessels, commence planetary assault immediately. No further delays." As alarms blared throughout the massive flagship, Reeves caught Lieutenant Okeffer's subtle nod. Confirmation that the nanobots had completed their primary mission. Every critical system of the hegemony fleet had been mapped and analyzed. The data already transmitted to Earth. On the tactical displays surrounding them, the first wave of 50 hegemony battleships broke formation, accelerating toward Earth with weapons charging. Kizoth turned to the captured humans with what passed for a smile in his species. "Watch as your homeworld burns," he said, "a fitting punishment for your duplicity." Reeves met his gaze steadily. "I wouldn't be so confident, Admiral. The game is just beginning." The first wave of hegemony battleships accelerated toward Earth, their crystalline hulls gleaming in the sunlight. Aboard the Crystal Dominion, Admiral Kizoth watched with satisfaction as the invasion commenced. "Your primitive defenses won't even register our approach before your major cities are reduced to ash," he told the human delegation, now held in a containment field. Captain Reeves maintained a neutral expression. "Perhaps, but appearances can be deceiving, Admiral." Kizoth dismissed her cryptic response with a click of his mandibles. "Your species' final moments approach. I will be merciful and allow you to witness it." The massive viewscreens displayed the hegemony fleet's formation. 50 destroyer-class vessels arranged in attack configuration, their planet cracker weapons charging. The ships passed the orbit of Mars, entering the inner solar system. On Earth, emergency broadcasts directed civilians to designated shelters. But unlike the panic Kizoth expected to see, the response was orderly and efficient, as if rehearsed countless times. In truth, it had been. Deep beneath the Sahara Desert, Dr. Ling Zhao sat before a quantum interface console, surrounded by the world's leading scientists. The nanobots' data had provided exactly what they needed: the precise resonance frequency of the hegemony's crystalline technology. "The quantum disruption network is ready," she announced to the Global Defense Council. "All nodes reporting optimal functionality." Director Sane's holographic projection nodded. "You have authorization to proceed, Doctor. Protect our world." Zhao's fingers danced across the interface. Activating QDN in 3, 2, 1. Across the solar system, 10,000 satellites, disguised as defunct equipment or mere space debris, simultaneously powered up. Individually, each was too weak to detect. Together, they created a quantum field tuned specifically to the counter-resonance of the hegemony technology. Aboard the lead hegemony destroyer, Captain Senkar noticed the first anomaly. "Energy fluctuations detected, Admiral. Unknown signature. Source," demanded the vessel's commander. "Impossible to pinpoint. It appears to be everywhere." The captain frowned, compound eyes scanning the readouts. "Increase shields and..." His words died as a high-pitched harmonic tone filled the bridge. The crystalline control panels before him began vibrating subtly, then more intensely. Fracture patterns, delicate as snowflakes, spread across the transparent surfaces. "What is happening?" the commander demanded as warning signals flashed throughout the ship. Molecular destabilization in the crystal matrix. The engineering officer reported, panic in his clicks. It's affecting all systems simultaneously. Aboard the Crystal Dominion. Kazoth watched in disbelief as the view screen showed his first wave of ships beginning to shimmer strangely, the crystalline structures catching sunlight in new patterns. Status report, he demanded. Admiral. His communications officer responded, mandibles clicking in distress. We're losing contact with the forward fleet. Their crystal matrices are experiencing cascading harmonic disruption. The human prisoners exchanged knowing glances as the hegemony officers frantically worked to understand what was happening. Captain Reeves couldn't suppress a small smile. On the view screens, the unthinkable unfolded. The lead hegemony destroyer shuddered, its crystalline hull developing fracture patterns that spread like lightning. Seconds later, the massive vessel shattered into billions of glittering fragments. One by one, the other 49 ships followed, breaking apart in a deadly but beautiful cascade. From Earth's surface, civilians emerged from shelters to witness an unexpected celestial display. The night sky illuminated by streaks of blue-violet light as the remnants of the hegemony fleet burned up in the atmosphere. It resembled the most spectacular meteor shower in recorded history. Kazoth's exoskeleton flushed dark with rage. "What have you done?" he demanded, turning to the human prisoners. "We?" Reeves replied calmly. "We've been here with you the entire time, Admiral." "Impossible." Kazoth slammed his armored fist against a control panel. "Your primitive technology couldn't possibly." "That's the point, Admiral," Lieutenant Chen interjected. "Our apparent technological backwardness was a carefully constructed facade. We detected your scout ships 50 years ago and have been preparing ever since." Dr. Walsh nodded. "Everything you saw of Earth, our conflicts, our limited space presence, our seemingly primitive weapons, was a performance designed specifically for your benefit." Zoth's compound eyes widened as understanding dawned. The entire planet was a trap. "Is a trap," Reeves corrected. "What you just witnessed was merely Phase 1. Around them, the Crystal Dominion structure emitted a subtle harmonic tone, the first indication that the quantum disruption was spreading to the flagship itself. In the detention cell, Captain Reeves met the Admiral's gaze steadily. "I suggest you consider your next move very carefully, Admiral. Your advantage has just evaporated." Admiral Kazoth's compound eyes reflected the shimmering debris field that had been his vanguard fleet moments before. 50 capital ships, each the product of centuries of hegemony engineering, reduced to cosmic dust. The magnitude of the deception dawned on him fully. "All vessels," he commanded, his voice carrying across the fleet's quantum network, "maintain distance from Earth orbit. Deploy in spherical formation and charge all weapons simultaneously. We will obliterate this deceptive world from existence." The remaining 250 hegemony ships began repositioning, spreading to surround Earth completely. Their planet cracker weapons began charging, crystalline energy cores pulsing with building power. In the detention cell, Captain Reeves felt the subtle vibrations as the flagship maneuvered. Lieutenant Okafor caught her eye and tapped her neural implant discreetly, indicating that the nanobots were still transmitting. "Your strategy is impressive," Kazoth admitted, mandibles clicking in agitation. "No species has ever concealed their true technological level so effectively. But it changes nothing. My remaining fleet still possesses enough firepower to reduce your world to molten slag." "Perhaps," Reeves acknowledged. "But consider what you've witnessed. We anticipated your arrival. We understood your technology well enough to counter it specifically. What else might we have prepared?" Kazoth studied her with newfound wariness. "Why reveal your capabilities now? You could have maintained the deception." "Because," Dr. Walsh interjected, "we don't merely want to defeat your invasion. We want to end the hegemony's galactic conquest permanently." On Earth, the second phase of humanity's defense plan activated. Across the planet's surface, seemingly ordinary structures transformed. Solar farms rotated panels to reveal quantum emission arrays. office building windows polarized, converting entire skyscrapers into massive energy projectors. Continental defense networks, hidden in plain sight as civilian infrastructure, powered up simultaneously. Dr. Zhao monitored the systems from her command center. All planetary defense nodes online. The counter-resonance field is expanding beyond our atmosphere. Director Singh's hologram nodded. Extend the field to maximum range. Target all hegemony vessels simultaneously. The quantum disruption field expanded outward from Earth like an invisible tide. Unlike the first attack, which had affected only the Vanguard fleet, this wave was significantly more powerful, designed to neutralize the hegemony's entire invasion force. Aboard the Crystal Dominion, alarms blared as sensors detected the approaching energy signature. "Admiral," the science officer reported frantically, "the energy field from Earth is expanding at exponential rates. Composition matches the harmonics that destroyed our Vanguard." "Evasive maneuvers," Kazov ordered. "All ships withdraw immediately." But the massive hegemony vessels, designed for power rather than speed, couldn't outrun the quantum wave. The disruption field washed over them like a tsunami, interfering with their crystalline structures at the molecular level. From the flagship's bridge, Kazov watched in horror as his mighty armada began to disintegrate. The destruction wasn't instantaneous this time. It was methodical and precise. Earth's defense system targeted propulsion systems first, immobilizing the fleet. Then weapons arrays failed, followed by life support systems. The spectacular destruction was visible across Earth's surface. During daylight, people witnessed strange prismatic effects in the sky as sunlight refracted through crystalline debris. At night, cities were illuminated by the blue-violet glow of hegemony technology burning up in the atmosphere. Captain Reeves and her team felt the Crystal Dominion shudder as the disruption field reached the flagship. The containment field holding them flickered and died as power fluctuations cascaded through the ship's systems. "What now, Admiral?" Reeves asked as she and her team stood, no longer prisoners. Toth's exoskeleton flushed with colors indicating both rage and fear. "You've doomed yourselves as well. When this ship fails, you'll die with us." Lieutenant Chen smiled slightly. "I wouldn't be so certain." He tapped a sequence on his wrist communicator, activating personal quantum shields around each human. Technology far beyond anything the hegemony had ever encountered. The Crystal Dominion structure groaned as fracture patterns spread throughout its hull. Kazov watched his officers frantically working to stabilize the ship's systems, knowing their efforts were futile. "You've destroyed centuries of hegemony achievement," he said bitterly. "No," Captain Reeves corrected. "We've ended centuries of hegemony oppression. And this is just the beginning." As if to punctuate her words, the flagship's communication array suddenly activated without command. Emergency signals flooded in from across the galaxy, distress calls from hegemony strongholds on dozens of worlds. Kazov stared at the reports in disbelief. "What have you done?" "Exactly what I said," Reeves replied calmly. "We're ending the hegemony, not just here, but everywhere." Admiral Kazov stared at the holographic displays, showing simultaneous uprisings across hegemony space. Occupied worlds that had been subjugated for centuries were suddenly deploying the same quantum disruption technology that had devastated his fleet. "Impossible," he whispered, mandibles clicking rapidly in distress. "How could primitives coordinate such an attack?" Captain Reeves approached the main command console, her team spreading out strategically around the bridge. The hegemony officers were too stunned by the cascade of disasters to stop them. 50 years ago, she explained, we detected your scout ships observing Earth. Instead of announcing our discovery, we studied them secretly. We reverse-engineered their technology and developed countermeasures. But we didn't stop there. Lieutenant Okafor continued. We identified 27 worlds under hegemony control with resistance movements. For decades, we've been infiltrating those worlds with human operatives. Humans? Kazov's compound eyes widened. Beyond your solar system, you have no faster-than-light capability. Dr. Walsh smiled. Another deception, Admiral, our first interstellar ships left Earth 35 years ago, using quantum displacement drives, technology your scientists haven't even theorized yet. We've established hidden colonies and contact with over 40 alien civilizations, all while maintaining our primitive facade. The Crystal Dominion shuddered as another wave of quantum disruption passed through its structure. Warning signals flashed across all control panels. The flagship's core systems were beginning to fail. Launch all evacuation pods. Kizoth ordered his remaining officers. Abandon ship. Across the massive vessel, hegemony crews rushed toward escape craft. The once mighty flagship was coming apart around them, fracture patterns spreading through its crystalline structure like cracks in ice. Captain Reeves activated her neural implant, establishing direct communication with Earth Command. Director Singh, the flagship is failing. Request extraction for my team. Acknowledged, Captain. Singh's voice responded directly into Reeves' mind. Prepare for phase shift transport in 2 minutes. Kizoth noticed the humans making no move toward escape pods. You'll die when this ship disintegrates, he warned. We have our own extraction methods. Admiral, Reeves replied. But you still have a choice to make. What choice remains? Kizoth's exoskeleton flushed dark with defeat. Surrender personally to Earth authorities. Provide access to hegemony databases and command protocols. In exchange, we'll ensure your safe passage and fair treatment. Around them, crystalline support beams began to crack and fall as the ship's structural integrity rapidly deteriorated. Most of the hegemony officers had already fled to evacuation pods. Why would you offer terms when victory is yours? Kizoth asked suspiciously. Because unlike the hegemony, we don't seek to destroy our enemies, Lieutenant Chen explained. We're offering you the chance to be part of building something better than conquest. Kizoth studied the humans carefully. Throughout his centuries commanding the hegemony's expansion, he had encountered hundreds of species. None had ever offered mercy from a position of strength. It contradicted everything he understood about intelligent life. Your offer is unprecedented, he finally said. 10 seconds to extraction, Dr. Walsh announced to her team. Kizoth made his decision. I accept your terms. A soft humming filled the air as quantum fields enveloped the humans and the hegemony admiral. Seconds later, they vanished from the failing flagship, the first demonstration of Earth's quantum displacement technology that the hegemony had witnessed directly. They rematerialized in a pristine white chamber deep beneath the Pacific Ocean. Medical personnel immediately moved forward to assist them, unfazed by Kizoth's alien appearance. Welcome to Earth, Admiral. Director Singh greeted them, her silver-streaked hair framing a face showing neither fear nor triumph, only calm purpose. Your cooperation will help minimize further casualties as we dismantle the hegemony power structure. Kizoth studied the facility around him. Technology far beyond anything the hegemony possessed, operated by humans who showed none of the primitive characteristics his intelligence had reported. You've been planning this for 50 years, he asked incredulously. Longer, Singh replied. We detected signs of advanced civilizations 70 years ago. Rather than announcing ourselves to the galaxy immediately, we chose to develop our technology in secret while presenting a harmless facade. On massive display screens surrounding them, Kizoth watched as his mighty flagship finally succumbed to the quantum disruption. The Crystal Dominion, pride of the hegemony fleet and symbol of their dominance for centuries, shattered into billions of crystalline fragments that created a new temporary ring around Earth. The greatest deception in galactic history, Kizoth murmured, his translator rendering his clicks into English. An entire planet pretending to be primitive while developing technology that surpassed their would-be conquerors. Not just technology, Admiral, Captain Reeves corrected. Unity. While maintaining the appearance of division, Earth's nations have been working together in secret for decades toward this single purpose. Kizoth realized that he was witnessing the emergence of a new galactic power, one that had revealed itself only at the moment of its complete victory. 3 days after the destruction of the hegemony fleet, Earth's carefully maintained facade fell away completely. Across the planet, hidden technologies emerged into public view for the first time. Quantum transportation hubs activated in major cities, allowing instantaneous travel anywhere on Earth. Atmospheric processors, disguised for decades as office buildings, began actively healing environmental damage. Medical facilities unveiled regeneration technology that could cure almost any disease or injury. Admiral Kizoth, now the highest-ranking hegemony official in human custody, watched these revelations from a comfortable but secure suite in the Global Cooperation Center, formerly known publicly as the United Nations. "I still don't understand," he told Director Singh during their daily meeting. "Why maintain such primitive appearances when you possessed this level of advancement?" Singh smiled slightly. "History taught us caution, Admiral. Early human civilizations that flaunted their achievements inevitably became targets for conquest. We decided that when humanity finally reached for the stars, we would do so carefully. But the resources required to maintain such a deception were considerable," Singh acknowledged. Every nation contributed. While publicly engaging in petty conflicts and inefficient practices, we secretly pooled resources to develop defense technology and establish off-world colonies. Kizoth's compound eyes studied the holographic display showing reports from across hegemony space. The coordinated rebellion had succeeded on 42 worlds, with resistance movements utilizing Earth's quantum disruption technology to neutralize hegemony forces. "Your agents have been remarkably effective," he noted. "They've had decades to prepare," Singh replied. "We identified worlds with the strongest resistance potential and sent human operatives to provide technology and coordination. Today, those worlds are declaring independence from hegemony rule." In orbit above Earth, the aftermath of the battle provided a spectacular celestial display. Crystalline debris from the destroyed fleet formed a shimmering ring that caught sunlight in prismatic patterns. Earth's space defense platforms, massive structures that had remained hidden using quantum displacement technology, now patrolled openly. Captain Reeves joined the meeting, bringing updated reports from the newly established Interstellar Coordination Council. 29 formerly subjugated species have sent representatives, she informed them. They're gathering on Luna Base for the first galactic conclave, not controlled by the hegemony in over a millennium. "And what future do you envision for the galaxy?" Kizoth asked. "Will Earth simply replace the hegemony as the dominant power?" "No," Singh said firmly. "We've proposed a galactic cooperative, a coalition of equal worlds working together for mutual benefit rather than conquest." "A noble sentiment," Kizoth clicked skeptically. "But power inevitably corrupts, regardless of species. Which is why we've built safeguards into the system," Reeves explained. "No single world, including Earth, will control the cooperative's governance or military capabilities. Quantum technology will ensure transparency in all diplomatic interactions." Kizoth considered this. Throughout his long life commanding hegemony forces, he had never encountered a species that achieved dominance without using it to subjugate others. The human approach seemed naively idealistic. "You truly believe such cooperation is sustainable?" he asked. "We've proven it works," Singh replied. "Earth's nations maintained the appearance of division, while secretly working in perfect cooperation for decades. We're applying the same principles on a galactic scale." Communications Officer Wei Han entered with urgent news. "Director, we're receiving transmissions from 16 additional worlds beyond hegemony space. They've been monitoring the situation and wish to send representatives to the cooperative talks." Singh nodded. "Extend welcomes to all of them. The more diverse our coalition, the stronger it will be." Kizoth's translator clicked rapidly as he processed this development. "Species outside hegemony influence. How many civilizations has Earth contacted without our knowledge?" 63. Reeves answered matter-of-factly. "Our stealth exploration vessels have been mapping the galaxy for 3 decades, establishing diplomatic relations with civilizations the hegemony never discovered. The Admiral's exoskeleton flushed with colors indicating profound shock. You've outmaneuvered a galactic empire with millennia of history in just 50 years. We had strong motivation, Singh explained. When we discovered we weren't alone in the universe, our first priority was ensuring Earth's survival. Our history taught us that appearing valuable invites exploitation, while appearing dangerous provokes preemptive attacks. The solution was to appear insignificant until we were ready to reveal ourselves. On screens throughout the facility, news channels from across Earth showed populations celebrating what was being called Emergence Day, the planet's official debut as an advanced civilization on the galactic stage. Kzoth watched these celebrations with newfound respect for the species he had so recently dismissed as primitive. I begin to understand why my invasion failed so completely. You were never the prey. You were the predator, waiting patiently. Singh shook her head. Neither predator nor prey, Admiral. We simply chose not to play the game by the established rules. And now we're writing new ones. Captain Reeves studied the fallen hegemony commander. The question is whether you're willing to help us build this new future. Your knowledge of hegemony worlds and military capabilities is invaluable. Kzoth's compound eyes reflected the holographic displays showing Earth's true technological achievements. He had lived by the hegemony's philosophy of domination for centuries, but faced with such a comprehensive defeat, new possibilities emerged in his consciousness. I find myself curious, he admitted, about this alternative path you propose. 6 months after what became known throughout the galaxy as the Earth Revelation, representatives from 87 formerly independent or subjugated worlds gathered in the newly constructed Harmony Dome on Luna. The massive transparent structure offered breathtaking views of Earth rising above the lunar horizon, a fitting backdrop for the historic signing of the Galactic Cooperative Charter. Admiral Kzoth, now serving as special advisor to the Transition Council, stood at the observation window watching delegates arrive. His once fearsome appearance had been softened by ceremonial robes bearing the new cooperative emblem, a spiral galaxy with interconnected stars representing unity and diversity. Having second thoughts, Captain Reeves asked, joining him at the window. Her uniform now bore the insignia of Earth's diplomatic corps rather than its defense force. Contemplating change, Kzoth replied. In my 4 centuries enforcing hegemony rule, I never imagined standing as witness to its replacement by something better. Below them, the grand chamber filled with representatives of species from across the Milky Way. Some were former hegemony subjects celebrating their newfound independence. Others came from worlds beyond previous hegemony influence, eager to join the new galactic community. The diversity was unprecedented. Species with silicon-based biology conversing with methane brothers, crystalline intelligences sharing ideas with carbon-based life forms. Today's ceremony will be transmitted across the galaxy, Reeves noted, even to the remaining hegemony strongholds. Kzoth's mandibles clicked thoughtfully. Those enclaves cannot stand much longer. Without the fleet and central command structure, the entire system is collapsing. We're not pursuing military action against them, Reeves reminded him. Earth's policy is to offer assistance for peaceful transition, a strategy that continues to confound former hegemony commanders, Kzoth admitted. Mercy from a position of strength defies conventional tactical wisdom. The ceremony began with Director Singh, now bearing the title Cooperative Coordinator, taking the central podium. Behind her stood Earth's full governmental council, representing a planet that had finally abandoned its pretense of division. Fellow sentients, Singh addressed the gathering. Her words translated simultaneously into 62 languages. Today marks not the birth of a new galactic authority, but the recognition of a truth that has always existed, that diversity brings strength, cooperation surpasses conquest, and mutual respect creates possibilities that domination never could. The charter's signing proceeded with representatives from each world adding their authorization. The document established fundamental principles: technological sharing, non-interference in cultural development, mutual defense, and decision-making through quantum-verified consensus rather than hierarchical authority. When the formalities concluded, the assembly moved to the grand terrace for the revelation that many had been anticipating. At Singh's signal, massive hangar doors on the lunar surface slid open, revealing Earth's true space fleet for the first time. Hundreds of vessels emerged, sleek ships utilizing technologies unknown to even the hegemony at its height. Quantum displacement drives that required no conventional propulsion. Crystalline hulls that incorporated consciousness-level artificial intelligence. Defensive systems that could neutralize threats without destruction. Magnificent, Kizoth acknowledged, his translator struggling to convey the complex emotions in his native language. Yet you kept these hidden, even after your victory was assured. Until today, they remained our insurance policy, Singh explained, joining them at the observation window. But with the charter signed, they now belong to the cooperative, not to Earth alone. You're surrendering your military advantage. Kizoth's compound eyes widened in surprise. Transforming it, Singh corrected. These ships will form the core of the peacekeeping fleet, under the command of the Cooperative Council, which includes representatives from all member worlds. Throughout the celebration that followed, Kizoth observed the humans closely. Despite possessing technology that could have established them as the galaxy's unchallenged power, they deliberately chose to share authority. It contradicted everything the hegemony had taught about the inevitable corruption of power. Later, as Earth rose fully above the lunar horizon, bathing the Harmony Dome in blue light, Kizoth found himself in conversation with Dr. Ling Zhao, the scientist responsible for the quantum disruption technology that had defeated his fleet. I studied your work, he told her. Your understanding of crystalline resonance surpasses even our most advanced researchers. That knowledge came at great cost, Zhao replied. 50 years of global resources directed toward a single purpose, survival. Now we can finally redirect those resources toward building rather than defending. And the deception? Kizoth asked, maintaining the appearance of a primitive, divided world for so long. Zhao smiled. That was perhaps our greatest achievement, not the technology, but the patience and unity required to sustain the illusion. Every nation, every leader playing their role in a planetary performance designed for an audience beyond our atmosphere. As the celebration continued around them, a newly arrived delegation approached, representatives from the Crystalline Collective, a silicon-based civilization from the galaxy's outer rim. They had traveled for months to join the cooperative after receiving news of the hegemony's defeat. Their leader, a being composed of interlocking geometric crystal formations, addressed Kizoth directly. We observed your empire from afar for centuries, fearing discovery. Yet now we find its former military commander working toward peace. Kizoth's translator rendered his response carefully. I have learned that true strength lies not in dominance but in adaptation. My species conquered worlds for millennia, yet was utterly defeated by a civilization that valued cooperation over conflict. The observation deck fell silent as delegates gathered to witness Earth's space fleet forming a massive ceremonial pattern above the lunar surface, ships arranging themselves into the spiral symbol of the new cooperative. The Empire struck Earth, Kizoth mused, only to discover it wasn't an empire at all, but a tired philosophy whose time had passed.